Alright guys, what's going on? Frag-Jitsu here. Gonna take a look at Reflection Man today from Amouage. Now I have the box here. We'll take a look at the box in a second. The bottle is this kind of clear, see-through, chromed out bottle. You got a gemstone on top. They got a little insignia on the top here. Just a clear kind of juice. Got Amouage on the front and this little interesting kind of stamp. Mine actually is crooked, which kind of bugs me a little bit. It's always been tilted to the right, centered, like kind of sideways. The bottle is nice. It's made in Oman. Their brief for this fragrance, guys, was a distinctive and compelling signature. Reflection Man embodies a spirit of refinement taken to the extreme. Now, I totally get the signature and I totally get the refinement in here, but I don't really get too much of an extreme. Let's take a look at the box. I feel like the colors here are really spot on. Like, this smells almost like that spray there, like those colors. Just has a lot of that grays and whites to it, but it also has a little bit of green. I see the purple there too, which I totally get. It has that kind of color palette to it in the smell. I'd say the most important notes here are white florals from like neroli and jasmine, which have a sweet powdery white floral, and then that extra reinforcement of dryness from orris. It just has that in the heart. This is a very heart heavy fragrance. It's got woods in the base, guys, like sandalwood. Everything is this drier kind of smoothness. There's a little bit of greenness in it too. The overall wearing experience for this is a woody floral musk, fresh, slightly aromatic, a little bit green at the beginning. Soap meets laundry, meets powdery dryness. Now, it's not that kind of powder that goes into like feminine or baby powder. This is a masculine, dry, clean fragrance. When you look at the notes and you look at a fougere, this is a twist on a fougere. They took the lavender out of the mids and they put in this floral heart. And I feel like that heart of this fragrance really kind of is the main scheme here, which I think makes it a complex but not too deep fragrance. It's not like an extremely deep fragrance. It's not super bass dominant. It's really like a super mid-tone kind of fragrance. You do get a little bit of an opening with this burst, but that doesn't really do too much for you. I do feel like this fragrance doesn't change through the wearing experience. It feels like a linear kind of process. It just gets lighter and lighter as you're wearing it. It's got this powdery gray kind of thing to it, and it's got this soapy kind of feeling to it, but not really outright. It's very elusive to try to figure out what exactly you're smelling with this one. And I would say that is because of the roundness of the profile. They did a really good job figuring out and balancing this thing to make it a little bit mysterious and hard to pin down and explain. It is an upscale kind of understated fragrance, and I do feel that if you want to wear this, it could be a signature scent, which is what they said in the brief. It is intended to be a signature all-arounder. Knowing that House of Amouage, this released in 2006, their fragrances, guys, usually when I smell an Amouage fragrance, it's not this kind of fragrance. It's got way more boldness to it, a lot more off-putting nature, a lot more in your face, a lot more challenging. They do have a lot more interesting offerings, in my opinion. I know a lot of enthusiasts will say this is a staple in a lot of people's collections, where a lot of Amouage enthusiasts will kind of turn away from this one and wear a bunch of the other offerings from the house, which are also very good. I'd say if I had to categorize this fragrance, it's a floral, slightly aromatic, woody musk fragrance, but it could have been classified as a fougere, just a modified and modernized version of a fougere. Classically lavender we'd see there and we'd smell that, but I think that fresh air component of lavender, what they really were going for, that clean fresh air component, they removed that and tried to kind of recreate that with other notes that aren't lavender. And I like it. I like that route. Lavender sometimes to me, guys, gets a little bit generic, especially in the masculine lavender category of fragrances. Sometimes it really sticks out to me, and it's just more insisting on being a lavender fougere fragrance. This one, I really like that floral heart. I really like that powdery nature, and I have a long history with this fragrance. So before we get into that, the price on this fragrance, guys, you're going to see it $380 retail if you buy it directly from Amouage. I don't think that that's the thing you want to do. I wouldn't do that personally. I don't think it's worth $400 for this fragrance. On discounters, you're gonna find this between $180 and $250. I'd say for the 100 ml bottle, around that $200 mark is fair. I feel like that's just fair. It's just really right where this wants to be. At this point in my journey, I've experienced a lot of clones that get really, really close to this for a fraction of that price. I'm not here to discourage you from getting it, but this is the gateway drug that led me to buying the bottle, and I'll share that with you right now. So, you guys have talked about Alexandria fragrances a few times. Most of the time, I'm very happy with their fragrances. This is one of the first ones, okay? One of my first experiences with this profile is the Runway by Alexandria, which I just wanted to try the profile. I just wanted to get a feel for it. This is nearly an empty bottle. You guys can see it's nearly empty. So I got a lot of experience with this. I actually ran through 2 more 10 mLs completely of Reflection Man before I got this bottle, which also has a dent in it. So I've definitely worn quite a bit of this fragrance. I also have a Dua version of it that is slightly empty. I do like this one. I also have had Kadlaj Shiaka Red, which is a clone of Reflection Man, a little bit more peppery, but still uncanny resemblances, guys. Very uncanny resemblance. They didn't come up with the idea. They copied it. I know. I don't really love that about clones. But for me, early on, clones were the first thing that I looked to get a diverse taste of all kinds of different fragrance profiles. And what I ended up with here was Alexandria being my gateway drug into all of these different profiles. I personally use that. I use their sample set, which is cheaper than sampling the originals. I know, guys, some of you guys will frown on that, but this is my experience and I'm just sharing it with you. I went on Alexandria's years ago website, saw that they had all of these clones of all of these great fragrances, and I friggin' tried them, all right? This one led me to buying a full bottle of Amouage Reflection Man here, and I'd have to say I'm pleased with this. It performed well, smelled like Reflection Man before I got it, and now I can compare them. It's not a comparison video, and I don't want to go too in depth, but this is really my kind of journey with this and where I'm at now. Where I'm at now is I have the original here, and I think about the price of it and the overall presentation, the overall feeling of having it, and I don't feel that at this point, with all the other offerings out there, that it's worth the price. Boo-hoo to me, but I need to be honest. I would say for recommendation for you guys, please sample this. This is a highly regarded fragrance. A lot of people do care about it and do like it and do recognize this as a great fragrance. But for me personally, the current spot that I'm in, guys, right now with fragrances, this is for me still a very utilitarian kind of fragrance. And I feel like there's so many things that even I still have that are like redundant. And I feel like for me, having this, having Darley, it started to get redundant. I have these 2 fragrances because I had them on the chopping block for wearing these to my wedding. There was some serious thought on a use case for having these. One of these was going to get picked for my wedding, and neither of them ended up getting picked because the performance on them was not rock star. It wasn't going to get me through a full day's wearing. I feel like it wouldn't have, and I had a summer wedding anyway. I feel like in the heat, this just really does burn off pretty hard. Overall, people rate this throughout the community at an 8.5, usually around there, and in the 7s for projection and longevity. That's according to Parfumo, all the research that I've done on this, Fragrantica. That's according to all the people who I've watched over the years being into this. It's usually around an 8, 8.5 that people are rating this thing on average. I would say I'm right there at that 8 mark with this. Because of the price, it does discourage me. In this situation, guys, it's a utilitarian fragrance, and I'm not really personally into that right now. And I feel like if I could just have a 10 ml sample of this again, I would be just fine with that. It is a special fragrance and it is unique, but for me, that use case is just redundant at this point. I do like this. I don't think it's overhyped. I think it's understated. I think it's a great fragrance that a lot of you will find as your signature scent. But for me, it's one of those fragrances that I would not repurchase. I don't know if I'll even get through this whole bottle. It might be one of the first bottles that I actually sell. I feel like it's not gonna be a fragrance that I continue to wear as the time goes on and I look for more interesting things. I think at the point of my journey that I was at, this was highly relevant and necessary stepping stone, but I could have lived without spending the $200 on this. I do enjoy it. I still will wear it time to time. I'm wearing it right now, and I have to say I do smell pretty friggin' glorious right now. So it's up to you guys really with your research. Hopefully this video really kind of helps you figure out what you're doing with your eyes on this or fragrances like it. If you guys really want to know what this smells like, it's very, very available to be sampled. Super high selling fragrance. It's one of their best sellers for a reason. It is probably, to me, one of the black sheep of their entire house in a way, because their entire house is crazy offerings, like challenging, really innovative, creative, really interesting structures, really challenging, super beast mode on a lot of their fragrances, and just not boring. And I feel like a lot of you, this might bore you. I know that's sacrilege to say, but I have to admit it. Some of you guys, this isn't going to be enough for you. I do like it. I do think that it has rivals in its price point for that utilitarian use case. Like this one right here, I'd say Green Irish Tweed is right there. Darley's right there, and just a boatload, guys, just a boatload of other fragrances that do this same thing. Even Tom Ford's Grey Vetiver, I feel like that gray suit kind of fragrance, that whole genre, that whole modern classic fougere, manly but not overdone, really elegant masculine fragrance, clean, fresh fragrance. There's so many of them, and there's so many really high quality ones that you really need to figure out if this one is that one in that slot. I'd say if you're a collector and you want something a little more interesting, it's not going to be this one. So guys, I would rate this around an 8, 8.5, that area. Performance is okay. It's nothing too insane. I'd say it's fair for what it is. It's very mid-heavy. It's not really bass-heavy. It's not too domineering. Really easygoing scent. Really clean smelling scent. Super easy to kind of go around and go about your business with it. Recommend it to be sampled, not to be bought. This one and a lot of other ones are going to compete for that utilitarian kind of fresh, clean use case. For me personally, in my own journey right now, this fragrance kind of is redundant as it gets in my collection. Hopefully that was informative for you guys and it helped you guys with your research, kind of putting a good idea to this fragrance, kind of capturing where it stands, kind of getting that comparison. I'd say definitely sample it. If you're into it, you had an itch to try it, sounds interesting to you, sample it. It could beat a lot of those signature scents that are on the chopping block. It could beat a lot of things in the same kind of zone. It is upscale. It's a luxury item to have, so I do like it. But for me personally, I won't be getting it again, and I would sell this bottle. Anyway, that's all for today. See you in the next one.